All right. Good afternoon, Chad. How are you? Sorry, I keep starting so late. I don't know what's going on. I need to start waking up early again. Okay. Don't need to spy on Poland because they're our ally for this war. Don't need to spy on Gotland because he is an OPM now. Do need to spy on the people that we're going to be at war with for a while, like France and Castile, Portugal, Russia, etc. So yesterday we got the achievement, and we were trying to decide if it made sense to play out the League War, and the general theory or consensus at the time was no, it's going to be too boring and whatever. But I was thinking about it more last night, and I think that this is something that it'd be like if Jorbs was playing Slay the Spire, and he got to the end of Act 3 and crushed the third act bosses and then said, I'm not going to play the heart because it's too easy and I'm just done now and whatever, you know? Like, yeah, it's really simple and I've done it a billion times, I feel like, but I want to take the time to execute the League War perfectly or as best as we can and explain why I'm doing what I'm doing so that it makes sense. So that if you haven't gotten to this point, by the time the League War fires, you'll understand like the decision making that's going on, and maybe that'll be able to help people. So it's mostly just like a tutorial thing is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna take our time with it and assess the war and kind of talk about why we do everything that we do, kind of like an over-explain type thing. So at face value, they have like double our infantry. They have over double our cavalry, and they have 3 times our artillery. So that means this is a bad war, right? You have 12 hours? Yeah, so someone asked in the startup music, if we were going to do the rotate camera thing again. I said, sure, why not? We'll do that today. So for today and today only, never again. Every gifted sub, or every regular sub, any sub, we're going to rotate the camera by 1 degree, because it's silly. And silly is fun. Let me get the configuration thing open so that I can do it. See, it's Alt-E. Alright, thank you for your sub, Wolfen, 53 months. We're at 1 degrees, rotate it. You guys are so nice. Thank you so much, Heavy Point. Just gifted 5 subs. First time gifting subs to the channel, too. Thank you, man. 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, 5 degrees, and 6 right there. We're tilted. Do we rotate multiple degrees for tier 2 and tier 3 subs? That's a good idea. We could consider that. It would make the count come off, though. Okay, so a couple things that I set up before unpausing and before while doing the stream like warm-up thing. I looked around, checked for edicts. That's one of the things that I always do when I load a save, is check to make sure I don't have any bad edicts on that are wasting money. I swapped our advisor to a Morale of Armies advisor because we already have plenty of discipline. We want to make sure that we have the morale to back it. Adding 5% discipline when you have 117 doesn't make you 5% stronger, because as you add more and more discipline, the effective increase is less. Going from 100 to 105 is a 5% increase, but going from 120 to 125 is only going to be 5 out of 120% increase. Whereas with morale, every point of morale that you add increases the amount of damage that you do and the amount of time your troops can stay fighting. And when I say damage, we're talking about morale damage. Having higher morale doesn't actually affect casualties at all, but it affects the amount of casualties multiplies against your max morale to determine how much morale damage the enemy regiments take. So adding more morale in this circumstance is better than adding more discipline, in my opinion. We have 20% infantry combat ability. We have naval ideas. Blech. We should consider the fact that we have naval in this circumstance and see if there's anyone that's coastal. Looks like we could abuse naval right over here. There are 3 naval coastal forts that we can use free breaches or free barrages on. Where's our navy? Another thing that I did is I like to check policies before I unpause. I checked the agenda and satisfied the agenda, did a little bit of development. Checked on cores, just basically check every page, check every alert. We're at full militarization, gaining 0.15 a month. Got all our embargoes, got max power projection. Another good thing to check on because power projection affects morale. And if you're going to have a big war against a superior foe, you want to have every point of morale that you can. I checked these to make sure that we had on expansionist zealotry for the extra 5 morale of armies. Next thing we're going to check is the religious bonuses. Make sure that we have not only 5 morale of armies and 2.5 discipline, but also we want, if we have enough church power, to cycle them to get the secondary effects from Protestant as well. We don't currently have enough points though. All right, yeah, so let's look at who's on our side. This is the war. Great Britain is our ally. Poland, who we've been beaten up on most of this campaign, has decided to join on the Protestant side. And it looks like Milan, and that's pretty much it. All of the colonial nations, except for one, are on the Catholic side. Russia is on the Catholic side. France, Castile, and of course the Emperor, Austria-Hungary. So, advantages that we have, of course, we're Prussia. Our troops are better. And this is a war based on battles. So there's a couple different types of casus belli that are based on show superiority. And you get bonus war score from winning battles. And if you have more than 10 war score from battles in your favor, you get your ticking war score. So whenever you use show superiority, whether it's a holy war or the League War or certain types like trade dispute and stuff, every battle that you win gets an innate +3 to its war score value. So there is a weird thing that happens though with overruns. If you overrun a 1 stack, sometimes you get the bonus 3, sometimes you don't. And I think it's dependent upon the overall relative number of troops in the war and if it's considered a large enough percentage of their army. So like, I've done campaigns as like Novgorod, for example, and you can beat, you guys remember when we played as Novgorod and we beat Muscovy by embargoing them and then revoking the embargo so that it was a one-way embargo. We cited trade dispute, which is show superiority, and then we just picked off 1 stacks and got to 40 war score from doing that. We abused it and picked off all the 1 stacks from Muscovy's subjects as they kept trying to retrain and hid behind our forts. So we have a military superiority, but we have fewer troops, and what we want to do is keep our armies as close together and make sure that we don't lose any big fights. A lot of our allies are going to get stack wiped and potentially cost a lot of war score, but it should be okay. That Novgorod strat didn't work on very hard for you, by the way. Perhaps we should revisit it. It's a fun little single day thing that we can do. I'm going to enable scootage on our subject because we don't want him to get, well, he's already in the war, but another thing that I did before we started the stream is I decided to add more artillery. I've queued up 16 more. Basically what I'm looking to do is I want to go to 3 siege stacks now. However, I increased the template to 12012 and 18012 because combat width is a little bit bigger now. And also we have the government reform from tier 7 that allows for inland routes to be used in any trade node regardless of trade power. So we actually use up to 12 artillery for a 6 bonus on level 2 and level 3 forts, and we can turn that on in any node. I've already swapped it in Vienna. It also gives 10% siege ability, so if we had offensive ideas, we'd pretty much be approaching the siege limit, the siege cap. Precisely because the overruns wouldn't get you the war score. I see, yeah, so because they had higher overall force limit, it wasn't giving you the 3 war score. That's unfortunate. Another thing that we're probably going to want to do, even though our new troops aren't going to be drilled, it would be probably a good idea in this circumstance to go up to our land force limit in infantry after getting the artillery in as well, just so that we have more bodies. So we will queue up some more of those. And this stack is over here, this stack is over here. So we got that bonus here. We need 2 more artillery on Vienna if we want the full bonus. We also lost one of our generals. We definitely want to roll generals right now. So who shall lead? We have a tactical genius, temporary +1 maneuver. So we're rolling 8 to 19. Let's get 4 or so generals. Dave's 95. Boom. Yep, you got the very minimum. You got an 8. Very impressive. Unrepentant. I mean, technically, the odds of being an 8 pip general there are just as high as you being a 19 pip general. So in some ways, you're really lucky. There is a siege god. Amazing. That is exactly what we want to knock people out quickly. A-L-B King T. So since this is kind of like an over-explain, I'm gonna... Another 7 pip general. Wait, how is that even possible? Oh, that's 9. I can count. Since it's an over-explain type thing, feel free to ask as many questions as you want to prompt me to explain stuff. If there's anything that you don't know or don't understand why I'm doing, this is the time. Let's go Roken von Leidison. Wow, not great rolls, but at least we got one guy with great maneuver and great siege. We are ahead of time on tech by only a little bit, so I don't want to roll more generals than that. In general, we're just going to put people in charge to help merge these armies together and make sure that if there is a battle, we can get a trait, potentially. Alright. Let's train all the rest of the infantry. Should be relatively safe to train over here because Poland is going to block Muscovy for us. Bum, 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 bum. Just train a few extra in this region. Alright, there's 170. Cool. How much dev are we missing? We already have the achievement. We're just playing out the League War as like a tutorial type thing for you guys. This can double as why you shouldn't take naval explanation. I mean, I make fun of it all the time, but it is what we have. So we're going to take advantage of our advantages. We have got blockade impact on siege +1. We have free naval barrages. And we have the arrow bonus for blockade impact on siege +1. And I believe we have a policy that gives blockade impact on siege +1. So altogether we have +3 blockade impact on siege. So coastal forts will fall extremely fast. If I add the math up, if we use the trade node edict, and we barrage basically gives 3 siege status instantly, but then blocks you from getting your own siege status rolls. We should essentially have, like with that 6 siege leader, we have 6 from artillery, plus 6 from the leader, plus 3 from the barrage, plus 3 from the blockade impact on siege modifier. And it's already, yeah, I mean, it's a lot. Those will fall super fast. Okay, we want our 6 siege pep guy here, I think. They got a barrage that they've done over here. Let's start spying on the other big participants, Russia and Castile and France. And let's also spy on Liege because we're going to go focus him down pretty quickly here. Let's also switch over to a spy network construction guy so that we can get faster spy network. And I got one of these guys heading to the Lubeck node. Are we doing any sieges in the Lubeck node? No. We're currently doing sieges in this node. 2 of them. So let's actually send our merchant here. Bum, bum, bum. So check that out. 6 and 5. We can use 2 more artillery on that siege, but we don't have enough trains just yet. No other siege pips, huh? Wow. You know what? I think I'm actually going to need to roll. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not a general. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're doing 5 sieges right now. Yeah, we need to roll. Someone needs to get an actual siege pip, please. Nefarian Serpine. Please have at least 1 pip. Thank you. And then let's get rid of you. Hey, Vienna already fell. We'll rotate this army over. Let's have the merchants head over to here from Vienna and get him on inland routes. We want to get this guy on inland routes. Bum, 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 bum. Our navy is in position to blockade a Mr. Other guy. This is just pure infantry for some reason. We'll have some of the army stand adjacent rather than all stand together. Let's start conforming to templates so that these armies are the proper size. And we do want to start focusing in on battles if we can. Some of our troops are still fully drilled, so they're going to be very fast and can potentially pick off armies that are being trained, which would be pretty helpful. Make sure we have a general here. And I'm going to have this army kind of like rotate south just to protect the front line as troops are popping out in case the AI decides they want to come try to kill them. Why are the Ottomans not in this war? Most likely they had a truce or they just didn't join the League War. And yeah, looks like they just didn't join. Okay, Trenton fell. I'm going to transfer forts to... It's kind of a lot of work, but... what's the name of our subject? He is in the war. What, Gallia? So we're going to transfer forts for two reasons. We haven't talked about this in a while. One of them is just visual impact. I just forgot again. Latgalia. So, regular provinces being occupied by us is fine, but I like to transfer forts to my subject so that I can see at a glance which provinces have forts, and therefore I can just go to the simplified terrain map mode and tell if it's a defensive fort at a glance. Like, Trenton is a mountain. Okay, and I know that that's a fort because it's been transferred. It's got a different occupation color. The other obvious advantage is that you don't have to pay for the fort, which is kind of a big deal. You can bury all of the fort maintenance on a subject who can go bankrupt, and them being bankrupt doesn't affect you at all, so... I mean, it does, but it's better for them to compartmentalize the bankruptcy than for you to have to deal with it. Okay, so this is a free breach. Bum-ba-dum. Probably should just use a template to train all these troops so I don't have to constantly issue these commands, but... Lose innovativeness. I'd rather not. Okay, I think we want the 30 stack to head over, and we're going to get ready to start working down Mr. Liège. Sorry, I'm late? It's okay, I don't mind. Do they usually join? Yes, the Ottomans usually do participate in the League War. So as far as I know, they have to be on the Protestant side, right? They can't be on the Catholic side because they're not Catholic? Or is that not even a requirement? Maybe it doesn't actually matter. I can't remember. Yeah, they're usually on the Protestant side, in my memory. Actually have most of these troops rally to the capital, and we'll have them drill for a bit. Yeah, they're usually at this stage of the game, especially if Austria got the Union over... Hungary, then they want to use Hungary's missions and claims and cores, so they end up becoming rivals. In this case, Austria did not get any of the Burgundian land, so I don't think he was strong enough to get to do it. Alright, so this is one thing we want to avoid, of course. Arriving on the 18th. We are not going to be able to get out in time. We do have a general here, but he's only a 225. This is where I should have been a little bit more careful and not actually extended out here. We didn't waste any monarch points on the barrage, though. It's not going to be a big deal, and we should come back with a proper stack. Same thing with this 11 stack. Like, it's too risky. We should not try to split stacks at all in this war. Austria just got re-elected mid-war. We're going to try to retreat from this if we can. We will retreat onto an existing army, just so that if they're going to try to go here as well, we have more troops present. You can always issue a retreat command to your army after 12 days of combat have happened, if they have at least 0.5 morale. So when you hover over this bar here, and it says current average morale for this stack is 5.69, as long as at least, sometimes if there's even one troop that doesn't have 0.5 morale, then it'll stop you from being able to move the army, and you can pull that one troop out, and every troop that has at least 0.50 morale can move, which means you can control the retreat and tell them where to go, instead of it being a shatter where you don't necessarily have any idea where they're going to end up. In cases like this, especially with this Casus Belli, it's far, far, far better to waste manpower by over-sieging than it is to try to min-max. So instead of going down to like a 10-0-10 stack for siege attrition, just pile 30 troops in there and be happy with it. You know? The extra attrition is nothing compared to the amount of manpower you save by avoiding battles that are going to be losses. Alright, how are we doing on supply here? 36? Okay, let's actually have these guys not go to the capital, because the capital doesn't have very much supply, and instead go to Wolgast. We probably don't have time to let the artillery drill. We just need them to join right away. But I do want some of the infantry to get drilled up a bit. Yeah, come on, let me select just those. Okay, these 12 artillery, for example, are going to go and join that army. We are engaging. This is fine. I'm happy with this. So just assessing, like, how we're doing. This is our 4-3-6-6. We're attacking in bad terrain against a 2-2-2-2, but we have 5.7 morale versus their 4.5. We have like a 12% discipline advantage. We should be able to turn one of these things on again. Does anything else in here affect combat? Free war taxes saves money, we can turn that on. Should be a victory in the battle, pretty easily. Time to get slightly more tilted. Oh, did I miss Dr. Trebuchet's sub? Thank you, Dr. Trebuchet. 7 degrees. Wow. So why am I swinging the army to the west right now is like a question that I would like to answer. I am swinging it to the west because we have naval ideas and because I want to group the armies. As soon as this province is occupied, I wanted to get Haunt because it's a gold mine. But this army is going to fall back and we're going to rotate the whole army into one big clump. And we're going to power all of them through Liege. I've chosen Liege as the first country that we're going to knock out in this war. And the rationale behind that is that we have naval ideas, which actually makes them the easiest to knock out. They only have 4 forts, 3 of which are coastal, and they're only level 2, and they're right next to the majority of the allies that are in our war down here. So, like, we want our army to be in this region anyway. And we want to start knocking people out ASAP. So yeah, let's get this occupation done, and then this army is just going to rotate up here. These guys are going to join that stack. We don't necessarily need 29 troops here. Let's pull some of these off, go down to like a 27 stack for now, and rotate these ones in so that that army has a few more in the front row. 27 is the current combat width. These infantry are going to drill. Make sure we do our free barrage. You have to remember to do it, even though it is free. So we've only been here for 7 days, and look at that siege status on the coast. 71% with this general. And I don't think we yet have inland routes turned on. Let's come here with the guy that is in Rhineland, and come here with the guy that is in Pest. Push inland routes. And we should have another 10% siege ability and the full 6 bonus. 78% chance to take the fort on the very first tick with 21-day siege ticks. We want this army to come over and be nearby. 22-day siege. Transfer this to our subject for visibility. Rotate this army through, and basically because we have this one siege god, this guy is the main thing we focus on. We just keep an eye on him, make sure he's always leading one of the most important sieges that we're currently doing. and gonna go from there. Now, another thing that we want to do, and this is actually something I rarely do, but we should for sure in this war, is we want to give the AI attached targets. So we're gonna take 8 troops, we're gonna turn on allow attach, and we're gonna split them up into a whole bunch of different provinces behind fort lines. So we'll do this, and then we want to go like here, 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 here. And basically, I want to give these idiots that keep getting stack wiped some guidance to like, hey, how about you take your 4 stack and come attached to this army, and then I can just keep it behind the forts and don't worry about them getting overrun or costing me 3 war score because of the show superiority battle. They might not do it if they can't get to the target, or if they have a large enough army that they feel like the way that the game handles war for the AI is depending on how much force limit and how like big a country is, and also if they're a lucky nation or not. They get assigned a certain number of threads of like AI thought or calculation, and you'll notice that it's pretty evident when you understand how that mechanic works. Like that 28 stack has a brain. It has an objective. It's trying to go do something. That 4 stack, it also has a brain because this is only army, but it's too small to like feel confident to do anything, so it wants to attach to something. And if you don't give attached targets, they will just wander around and get killed. So that's why we want to do that. And hopefully that stack will come and attach to one of my 1 stacks, but this one is probably just going to keep doing whatever he wants because it's big enough to function on its own. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I think we can knock Liege out in just like a couple months. It will be kind of annoying. We're gonna group up the other troops. Bum 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 bum. Okay, there's Utrecht. This should still be coastal. Can't believe I never thought of that. Baby stacks causing attrition constantly. Yeah. So we should, it'll take them a little bit of time, but like that army right there from Verden, see how it's going east right now? Most likely that's one of the first stacks that's decided, oh, there's something I'm supposed to attach to. I'll go do it. Another way you can guide the AI is if you take the time, some people might not even know this button exists. There's a button on the province screen that you can use only on hostile provinces where you can set the objective. This works in theory, sometimes. Like, if I told Great Britain that I think that they should try to siege this, there's a pretty good chance that the British army will do it. It'll be, like, higher in its priority list. But it's not guaranteed, and you can't really force Verden to go be suicidal. But it can work. It's more reliable to use the attached stacks. But if you use both, it's, you know, more stuff. And they've decided to fall back further. Let's put these closer to the front line, perhaps. See if we can... Bum, 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 bum. 3 for 3 on our forts. Okay, individual war score with Liege is at 56%. They are at negative 17 reasons. This war is special. Out of all of the wars in the entire game, I believe this is the only one where secondary participants have negative 50 base reasons on top of length of war to be separate peace. Religious League, Casus Belli, negative 50. So you basically have to get someone to 50% or more war score before there's a chance that they'll leave. The objective thing seems like a while you're here feature. Right, yep. Also, like, if Great Britain can't get to a location because they don't have enough transports or something, you know, it's obviously not going to work. All right, we have 12 artillery here. This army has only 4, so these 8 artillery belong here. And that means that this is a support stack. I'm probably going to use something of a buddy system with my regiments. I just missed that pop-up. Oh, is this one over here? Okay. And so what I mean by that is our army is very strong, but I really don't want to fight people right now if I can avoid it. I'd rather focus on sieges, because sieges will let me knock people out. Even if I kill someone's entire army, like say we stack wipe Mainz's army, they're not going to leave the war. But if we occupy his whole country, then they will. And the faster we can do that, the faster we can fix this disparate ratio in the war screen. So the buddy system is where we're going to have one stack that's got enough artillery to max out the siege status, and then we have another stack that's the support stack to that primary stack. So in this case, this is a support stack. It's just pure infantry. This is a siege stack. It's got the requisite artillery for a +6 bonus. So we're going to have this army trail behind this one province away, and what that does is it shows the enemy AI that there's full front load, like a strong army, but it's still only a 30 stack, but with an extra 26,000, only one province off, they're going to see that that army will reinforce, and they will avoid fighting it. They'll just let me siege this guy out if there's a support stack next door. So every army gets a buddy, basically. This army is a siege stack. It's got 2 extra infantry right now. Let's take it down to an 18012. And this army is its buddy. Makes sense? Any questions? Okay, we've just taken Paderborn. Alright, and that means there's only 1 fort left for Cologne, so this stack would like to go here next, if it can. If you feel safe, one thing you can do is you can have your support stack start the next siege. So for example, the siege stack is going here. The next closest fort that we know we need to siege would be probably Luxembourg or Cologne. So what we could do is have the support stack get started on this siege, and I would only do that if I'm like 2 provinces away, especially if the secondary siege is not defensive terrain, where I don't need to worry. It needs to be close enough that the support stack can still reinforce quickly, and all that'll do is just start earning some siege status, and you could get lucky and get a free wall breach. Okay, I always run out of manpower in my big wars. Any tips for that? Avoid battles. Go innovative offensive. Focus on sieges. If you look at the amount of casualties that we have, we had 1 fight, right? When I had the 15 stack or 12 stack that was out there a little bit too early. In that 1 fight, we lost 21,000 troops total. 15,000 from attrition. So right now, most of our losses have been from attrition, but we lost 6,000 manpower in 1 fight. You lose way more manpower in battles than you do in sieges. And sieges win wars. So anyway, so this support stack is going to go here and be adjacent to this guy. So I'm having this army start this siege just to get some status built up. But as soon as this army gets here, we want to have it rotate out and go back to being support. And the support stack can be split if it's safe. This is really good for us right now, actually. So Liege got stack wiped, or just is trying to build more troops for his force limit. He's currently training in a lot of provinces. As those pop out, if we can pick those off, it'll be very good for us. So now that the new stack has arrived, let's come back out and focus on getting the support stack where it needs to be. Look at this. Dortmund, 1 stack. Dithmarschen, there's a 6 stack attached. This army has these. You can also tell exactly who's attached by hovering over the attach button. The following units are attached: 5, 4, 4. So all these armies would get stack wiped, most likely, in battle. And all we had to do was just say, hey, come and attach to me. And if you want to, you can use these armies, but in this war, I will not. We know our troops are awesome. So logically, every battle that happens with troops that aren't our troops is a stupid battle. It'd be like, I don't know, using a vassal who doesn't have the same ideas as you, you know? So we just want them to, like, hide. Now that they have some attachers, I'm gonna pull them well behind fort lines so that I don't need to worry at all about them getting picked off. I thought the League War leader had to be an HRE member. No? They just have to be Protestant. If you look at the League War, and you hover over the country here, current military score of Prussia is 175.35. The leader of the League is whichever member... Well, the leader of the League has to be Protestant, as far as I remember. And second, you have to have the highest military score. And in order for it to change from the current leader to a different leader, not only do you have to have the highest score, but you have to exceed the current highest score by 50%. So if someone else joined and they were also Protestant and they had a score of 180, we would stay the leader. And this is actually one of the few places where you can actually see the inner workings of the AI and like how it determines how strong you are. This number is used in other places as well, but this is like the only place we can actually see it. It's used as part of the calculation for relative strength of alliances when it's trying to decide like if it can beat you in a war or how long it wants to stay in the war, that kind of stuff. Make sure that we got the inland routes edict on. I think we're done with that node, so let's transfer from the guy in the English Channel and get him over here to this. Wherever our primary siege leader is, and wherever the majority of our artillery are, is where we want to have the merchants for this war. I like how these guys are kind of far forward. Come back a little bit further. Does that make sense? I'm just taking my time in this, I'm really trying to over-explain. This support stack is kind of small. It's going to rotate around and go try to do this. We should also double check, make sure that the generals that are in charge of the siege stacks are the ones that have siege pips. One of ours 2 siege pip leaders is currently drilling. Let's swap him over here. Got our 6 guy, a 2 guy. That one's kind of weak, and we only have 1 siege pip on him. I'm going to rotate him off for the 2nd siege pip, because that's more important to me. That is hostile terrain. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Might be worth it to allow these troops to finish. And another thing that happens quite often is that the AI likes to demilitarize while they're at peace, and then when they go to war, they train all of the luxury units that they would have wanted if they were at war, but they deleted because they were at peace. So for example, you'll see them train cavalry a lot or add a whole bunch of artillery when they go to war. So these armies are really, really important to pick off because there's a high chance that they will be really expensive troops. And with that, we should be able to knock out Liege. Best part about the League War is that the Emperor, or sorry, the leader of the League War typically gets 11 billion war reps because you just take war reps and money from everyone. And I think it's more important to get them knocked out right now than it is to, like, full occupy and try to milk it or anything. We just want to move on to the next fort, you know? See how that war, that little battle only gave us 0.1 war score? It's probably because of the relative size of the total number of troops in the war. So we would need a real battle. But let's knock out Liege. Because we're at war with the Emperor, we have free military access to the entire HRE, so we don't have to worry about getting black flagged right now. This support stack belongs to this one. This is a perfect example of a situation where I'll have the support stack begin the secondary siege, because it is able to reinforce quickly enough. This army does not have a support stack. So these 2 armies are kind of sharing this support stack, which is also fine. We could also use these troops as, like, support troops, but again, we don't really want them in the war at all. They're just gonna lose. The troops suck. And this is a war that's based on battles. Osnabrück is occupied. We should knock him out. War reps, money, trade power, whatever we can get. Mr. Burgundy up there. Every now and then, it's a good idea to just check right here and hover over your name. So you can see your individual war score with all of the secondary targets. So Cologne, we have 23, Mines, we have 15. When we get that number above 50 is when it's probably time to consider knocking them out. We're only 1 fort away in Cologne, so that should be resolved now. Let's go ahead and force religion. He doesn't want to accept forced religion, so we just won't. It's fine. I just want to get him out. Next siege. We've got 2 forts down here. This stack can rotate. Okay, so we got zone of control from this guy projecting up into Julik. So we can't get to this side easily. Let's go to mines, and we'll have the support stack move down 1 adjacent to both of them. These little armies, they're coming from all around the world to come attached to our attached stacks. "29-day siege ticks on mines." That is someone that we should probably spy on, since we have at least 3 sieges to do against him. Every little bit of siege ability helps. Every 3.33% siege ability removes 1 day from each siege status timer, so it's very noticeable. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. And I'm going to keep on creating more of these, actually, because it seems like the AI is doing a good job listening. This will save us potentially a lot of war score. How's the buffer in the east doing? Probably falling, most likely. So the war leader is Austria. Poland is big enough that they have their own internal logic for like where their army should go, but they're not big enough to beat Russia. And they're also going to be focused more on the war leader. Like, notice where the Polish army is. I didn't tell him to go there, but he wants to focus on the war leader if he can. And he is probably going to get separate peace, and that's fine with me, because he's not really our friend. In fact, isn't he our... No, he's not a rival, but we don't like him. Okay, so there's that fort. Let's get that transferred to Mr... Not Gallia. And then when this army is here, we'll rotate the support stack out and on to the next province. It's also not a bad idea to intentionally path through some of these other sieges, especially if we see that they're getting close, like that one's at 35. There's like 100,000 troops down there, so we'd rather avoid that. But if I fight here, it might make France break their siege because they see a battle and they want to reinforce it. See how they're all doing that? That's because of this battle. And even if we just fight for 12 days, they are breaking some of their sieges. They don't lose their siege status instantly, but they do lose wall breaches if they move the whole army off, even just for a second. We do want to win this fight, if possible. There's more reinforcements coming, but I think we're going to just retreat here. I'm going to wait for this fort to fall. It's only 0.1 war score. We killed more than we lost, and potentially broke some of their sieges. And we're rotating into France now. Pretty quickly. Taking down 2 forts already. Should also take the time to like look at who you've successfully built your spy network up on. Because that country will be easier to siege for the next potential target, for example. $80 stat coming. Yeah, fine. Take a look at relative strength, see how it's changed. 277 versus 483. They still have about triple our cavalry and triple our artillery. So, roughly the same as when we started. The support stack can't start on the Paris siege because the zone of control from that fort projects to Valois. That fort projects to Reims, so we can't get through. But it can get started on Chartres. We'll have it slowly rotate towards Chartres, because this fort should fall very quickly. And I think I'm going to focus more on France now. We have 32 war score with mines, and we just took his capital. It's fine, we can win this, we have naval. Yeah, that's why. That's why we're gonna win, because of naval. Okay, Verdun fell. We're gonna have the primary stack with the 6 siege go after Paris now. We only need half of the troops. So in this case, when you're doing a level 1 siege, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get there, and then we're gonna split and have half of it move on, and they will start the secondary siege, since we don't need all of the artillery for the full bonus. Okay, I think we're looking at probably just this last fort needs to fall for mines. Got our inland routes here, got our inland routes here. We're about to move into the next node. This army can move down and get started on Burgundy's capital. Some of these troops feel a bit too close to the edge of our fort line to me. Bum, taking Paris. Okay, there's the last fort for mines. Should be enough to knock him out now. Come back from Russia. Any reason to keep naval? Well, when you abandon an idea group, you don't get very many points back. If we were to abandon this, we get 280. It's only 10% of our points that we spent. So we would be losing 400 base times 7 ideas. We're spending 2,800, and we're only getting back, how much was it? 280? So it's just like throwing 2,500 monarch points away. We can still utilize some of it. There's still some coastal stuff. We're gonna benefit from free barrages on Castile and France, and as we rotate down, we can use them on Naples. Like, we'll keep it. I almost never abandon idea groups unless there's something cheesy I need to do for an achievement or something. Alright, we're gonna take a battle here and try to prompt some of them to break their sieges. It's also a good idea to keep an eye on where specific countries' armies are. So, like, if I see that Mines, for example, is right here, they're about to take a fort down here, I could fight this army knowing that I can piece Mines out right now, and that army won't be able to reinforce. They expect that they've got protection, but if they're just suddenly knocked out of the war at a convenient time for me, then it would be good. This is a support stack, supporting those two. This is a support stack plus siege stack, moving in to take a fight. Should be full combat with 12 artillery. Probably not the best general in the world, but still good enough. And there's our first 3 war score from battles. And if they keep on trying to reinforce that location, we do want to do some more fights. Like, that is a perfect example of an army we want to engage. Because there's no leader, he's in hostile, effectively, terrain because of the occupation, so he can't assign a general, and it will very likely be at least 3 war score. But the AI also knows you're coming. They sort of pretend like they don't sometimes, and they, obviously the computer knows where every army is. It has to. But they can't, like, cheat specifically. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend like we're not going there. If I issue the command like this, then they know that's my final destination. And the behavior of that army is affected by this. They will still probably try to retreat, but they might not because they don't think the army's coming for them. So a trick we can do is to walk adjacent to them and then redirect once we're only 1 province away to ensure that we get that battle. That's an easy 3 war score. 3.5. And there's the French 49 stack. We can do the same thing here. They know where we're going, so we will pretend like we're going somewhere else. And then redirect. And it looks like France is probably going to successfully pile in here. This is the first fight that has happened in this war where we could just keep going, because we know our troop quality is very good. We have better discipline, better morale, better tactics. We've got a 5-3 general, though. Not the best general for combat. In fact, we only have... the highest siege pip we have is... sorry, shock pip is only a 4-4. If we had a 6-6 or like a 4-6 or something, I would be very happy to take battles. But this looks like a retreat now. There is still a reason to do battles like this, even if you lose troops, because it's going to cause them to break a lot of their sieges and pile in. And that gives us an edge when it comes to winning the siege race. Now we're just going to retreat, and I actually want this army to rotate east because I see that they're trying to take back Austria's capital. And it should be very easy to retake it. Check individual war score, see if anyone can get knocked out right now. Mine's is someone that I still need to peace out, so I'm going to do that now. Okay. Who else? We have 37 war score with France. France is a big boy, so it's going to take a little while to get him to agree. We probably have to occupy almost his entire country. Maybe peace out France and win the battle. Well, currently, France is probably not willing to peace out because of the -50 religious league casus belli and ongoing battles -28. Besides, France is big, so we want his money. As I mentioned earlier, because our army has at least, each individual army needs to have more here, more than 0.50, to allow you to control the retreat after it's been the 12 days of combat. If you have, say, 3 or 4 armies and only some of them are above 0.5, then it'll do the thing where most of your armies listen to you and are controlled, but one of them or 2 of them will just shatter off into nowhere. So just pay attention to those numbers up there. So right now I have the ability to shatter, and I can intentionally shatter to a location where I know we're going to win a battle. Like, say, on a defensive mountain fort down here, if I can get there. Or in this defensive mountain fort. There's no amazing... well, there's a 142 here. So, like, shattering down here is potentially very good. So, let's try it. So, we're going to shatter right through all the other armies. We're not able to be engaged. And when we arrive there, we're going to get a free battle. And when you win a battle, you gain war score, or you gain morale. So, it's like a morale recovery tick as well. All right, set down to Laborde. Let's have our navy go blockade it. Have this army get started on the Auvergne siege. Austria wants out. What do you mean? Austria is the war leader. He has the same +50. We're not going to be able to end the war until pretty much all of the secondary participants are out. This is going to break the siege that they were doing with 4 siege status and give us a free battle. That gives us a little bit of morale. And also helps us to get positioned where we want to be. We are kind of, sort of a little bit behind enemy lines down here, but we're going to rotate the armies back through. I am specifically trying to position the support stack for these 2 armies closer to this one, because it's far more likely that this one gets attacked than it is that this one does. So that's just something I'm currently doing. Let's don't forget our free naval barrage. Let's shuffle our guys over. So the guy that's currently in Champagne will come here, and the guy that's in Rhineland will come here, just to rotate them. Okay, that one fell. Burgundy is ready to get knocked out. We'll do the same thing we've done to him. Well, he's actually not quite ready. We have another fort somewhere. I don't think he has any other forts. Is he in a battle? He might be in a battle right now. Ongoing battles? No. Alright, we'll just occupy a couple more of his provinces then. Milan has separate war versus Venice. Yeah, it looks like they do. So we're intentionally rotating through here, try to create a battle, do the same thing as before. We want to try to make them pull off of their currently successful sieges. The board just fell. Mulhouse is occupied by Austria. That is someone that we can unsiege, just same logic as before. I do need to potentially pull my guy back that is in Champagne. I'm not doing any active sieges in that node right now, so... This is a situation where it's kind of tempting for me to... I've got, like, blocker armies. We've got a line of troops like this that I know are going to be protective, so it's pretty safe to carpet siege this region. The risk is that if France loses a battle somewhere and decides to train troops, he could suddenly murk up or train, like, 6 infantry in 6 different provinces, and then I might have my troops get picked off, which is very annoying. But it seems like it's probably the correct situation where we should do this. So we're going to take some troops and split up into 2 stacks. And I use 2 stacks for a couple reasons. Number one is that in the circumstance where the AI does start building troops, a 2 stack will beat a 1 stack that pops out much, much, much easier than it'll be if you only have a 1 stack. And the second reason is that these armies don't have a general. And if they're more than 1 province away from a controlled province and they suffer, say, a 2% attrition tick because they are... Maybe you're fighting someone who has defensive ideas, for example, or they have national ideas that get defensiveness, or the land is arid, or it's winter and there's extra siege attrition, then a 1 stack can't take the fort, but a 2 stack always can. Right here, we're taking 1% attrition. Without a leader, our local reinforcement rate here is 50%, so a 1 stack would work just fine, but 2 provinces away, you pretty much just want to use 2 stacks. There's a lot of good reasons to use 2. Let's rotate our navy down here now. We have another battle happening over here. They actually went for our support stack. Looks like we just need to retreat from both fights. Retreat on the 9th and on the 7th. Okay, so they've engaged both stacks. Probably not the best idea to carpet siege when this is happening. These armies were a little bit exposed and probably weren't very well drilled. And they had already been in a previous battle, so they were slightly weakened. And we just got stack wiped with one of them and lost 12,000 of our artillery. Boo. French Elan. Alright, this stack is a siege stack. We'll go to Lyonnais. Alright, we're going to group everything up down here now. This is also a circumstance where we can use auto siege, and they'll do a fairly good job of moving around. You can auto siege and you can say, like, I want this army to siege this area. It's kind of a tedious way to do it, in my opinion. If you just press H twice and don't specify anywhere, they'll just auto siege anything, which is better. Okay, no more forts in the Bordeaux node. We need to get a merchant into this node now. Bum, 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 bum. Your navy is engaged. Yeah, our navy is not very strong, so let's see if we have a safe port. We can use this guy. Aragon's not in the war. Can we get fleet basing from him? No. Can I get fleet basing from anyone who is not in the war? In which case I'd feel comfortable sending my navy down here. Looks like probably not. I can get fleet basing from Venice, but it's pretty safe. Sorry, pretty dangerous. I don't think it's worth the risk trying to send the navy around, because it's just light ships. So we're just going to retreat back to our own land up here. France should get knocked out fairly soon, is my current plan. Where is that stack that I had retreat? Alright, so this army was below 0.5 morale. It says currently 0.19, so it didn't actually listen to my command, and it retreated down here instead. Which isn't ideal. We want to get it to head over here if possible. The other reason that I don't always like to use auto siege is that it'll do this. They tend to group up a bit instead of actually spreading out the way that I'd like for them to. We have 56 war score with France now. Okay, we have a merchant in this node, and now we need them in Genoa. You can't transfer in an end node, but it's okay. You can still send your merchant down to tell them to collect, just so you can get your inland routes bonus. And it is worth it. That fort we never took. It's in the previous node. This guy is occupied, but not by someone that we're at war with. So we'll have this army head over here and just get started on the Cuneo siege. It might get picked off. I'm not convinced that it's going to live. Avignon already fell. Head over to Saluzzo. Okay. Okay, we got inland routes here, and we've got inland routes here. Have these armies go south. Once we're done with France, we're probably going to go knock out Castile next, because with France out of the war, I think our navy is going to be close, maybe, to the strength of the Castilian navy, so they might let us get free breaches, and then we can knock out Castile fairly fast. So we're just kind of rotating around, taking advantage of the naval barrages. France was the next easiest target after Liege. Currently at 0 reasons, France is almost ready to white peace. Probably when these last 3 forts go down, he will want out. Yep, we got the achievement yesterday. We're just playing this out because I haven't done a League War in a while, and it's a good war. It's a good big war to just help explain things. We've won the siege of Auvergne. I forgot to use artillery on that one. Whoops. Lost the siege of Ortelsburg, but we won the siege of Saluzzo. Okay, we'll have this army rotate in and pull this one off. This is our best siege leader. Yep. But Cuneo, look at it, it's just ridiculous how fast it falls once you have all of the artillery show up. Okay, Naples is also someone that's in the war that we could knock out. We've got a mountain fort here that we can defend. Could be a potentially good battle. Gonna have this army rotate up. Got Cambrai. Okay, I want our 6th siege pip leader to teleport to that army, and I want that guy to go there. And this stack is going to go now and start working on Castile. The stack that I'm using to go up to that mountain fort is the secondary, like the second best siege general. We don't want the best siege general to go do battles. We want him to keep doing sieges. That's his job, you know? Okay, 94 individual war score with France is probably enough. Money war reps, he's -5 reasons from giving me the most money he possibly can. Burgundy peace out, let's check that again, yeah. The Burgundy we have 65 individual war score with, and he's close. We can scale back the money a little bit and get him out. And I do want the French to pay us every ducat they owe us. Ongoing battles, -45, so we're only 1 reason away right now. Somewhere there's a battle. Notice how that army retreated. This is because of what I mentioned earlier. They know the final destination of your troops. So you can actually use that to your advantage. Sometimes you might not even want to do the fight. You just want to pretend like you're going to do the fight to force them to break their sieges. And then as soon as they do, you leave. Here's an example where we can go kill this army, because we know that we're about to peace out France, and it expects to be reinforced and won't be. -1 reasons with France. We're probably looking at just a couple more of these occupations down here happening. Regroup this stack now. And it's great, because France is going to lose that 21% siege status. -4 reasons. Also a very easy fight, though, so we'll take that. And it should be... Ah, this is why France has won out. He still has that fort, French comped. Let's get our merchant, who is in a different node, over to Sevilla. Grab the guy that's in Genoa right now. And I need to remember to switch him over to inland routes. And France wants out. Bye, France. Probably could have taken that fight, but... That is a 3-6-3-2 owned by Naples. That incentivizes me to go siege out Naples next, to remove that general from the game, or from the war. Relative strength of the alliance is now starting to look a little bit more fair. 250 versus 374, 30,000 versus 72, so they're down from triple to only double our cav count, and close to double our artillery count. Biggest participants in the war are Castile, Portugal, and of course Russia. We will need to go deal with Russia very soon. Poland is running interference, but likely to peace out fairly soon. They're -55. This army on its own is probably capable of getting Castile and Portugal out. They have decent army sizes, but I think that they're afraid of our quality. They're on Tech 14. Both of them are on Tech 14. I have fallen behind on tech. We need to take tech. We rolled too many generals. The Etschel Fort is something we should get started on. This is a available siege stack. Let's do that. And rotate the support stack around into Intal. Little battles like this is really good. We are at war with Augsburg, so rather than go into that mountain fort, let's just stop here and have this army go to the gold mine. This support stack can either go try to work down some of the Naples stuff or be over here. And based on the troop numbers I saw Castile and Portugal have, I think we'll have it go support this front. We did lose a lot of troops with that stack wipe. We lost one of our siege stacks. Don't have the inland routes active over here. Let's grab the guy that's in Champagne. Remember to switch this to inland routes here. And we'll wait till this guy arrives. Lost the siege of Passau. Okay. So they are starting to make some headway on our actual forts. Here's where, if we really want to, we can gather some of the support attached stacks and use them just to zone people out, but I still don't think we want to use their troops, because they're not very good. We start fighting in our land, we're going to rotate through as soon as we knock out probably 2 or 3 more people in this area, and maybe Castile. I think we want to get Castile and Portugal out before we go for defending our land. Like that fort there, I do want to get him out. That's a 665 Master at Arms. Russia's on Tech 14 as well. We should probably hold off until we get to Tech 14 and then take the fight. So I'd rather just run defensiveness here. Definitely a situation where we can potentially carpet siege Castile. In order to knock him out a little bit faster. Castile's army is also likely to be who knows who the hell where, because he is a colonial guy. Okay, let's check individual war score, see if there's anyone we can knock out. Nope. No reason to send our navy over yet, because we don't yet have any coastal sieges happening. $18-day siege of Toledo is good. I'm gonna skip down into the mountain forts while they don't have any troops behind, nearby in order to hopefully take it while there's no one to defend it. This is the most dangerous front right now. We have a 4-4 in a mountain province with no artillery, and that stack can't really get there because it's trying to siege, so I need to keep my eyes on this region. Technically, we're at negative 41 war score, but we're winning. They have 8.8 war score from battles, the ticking war score, and 19 from the actual battles, and that's with us trying to protect. It's probably mostly the Polish troops getting murdered that's costing all that war score. Bum. Did I get this thing turned on? Yes. 85% for Augsburg. And there's one of the Portuguese armies. Don't think that it's large enough. Unless there's like another double that, they're not going to go for this. So this siege should still be fairly fast. 40% local defensiveness, 29-day siege ticks. It's kind of slower. Shameful defeat. Gotta be careful that the 2 stacks here don't get picked off by the Portuguese army. Augsburg we can knock out. Okay. Constance is someone that we can knock out. This general is... Not particularly good. I think I do want to train another 12 artillery. So we can go back to having 3 active sieges. Individual war score with Castile's at 22. He's at negative 91 reasons right now. Okay, we can take tech, but do we need it right this second? Is it, like, necessary for any ongoing or current battles? Only maybe this one? I think we stall and we wait 6 more months to save the 60 military points, and then those 60 military points can be turned into another general, or into more development, or something, you know? Because we definitely would prefer something better for combat. We have great siege... Well, not even great, honestly. We only have 1 good leader right now, in my opinion. Despite having 99 army tradition. Got Constans. Let's have this guy rotate this way. Knock out Constans. Okay. Individual war score with other countries. Castile, 25. Starting to run out of people that can be separate pieced. Landshut still is one. We can go to this location. This is the more dangerous front, like I said, so we're gonna have... Let's focus down that fort before we go after the next individual participant. Again, gotta keep an eye on where the Portuguese army is, so that these 2 stacks don't get picked off. Without France in the war, I feel like these armies are much safer. Austria only has 50,000 troops, and our troop quality is high enough that he probably doesn't want to mess with one of our primary stacks. Looks like this fort might fall. We have like 3-4 more months until we can get Tech 14. Bum 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 ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum. Lost Snarky, and we got Etschol. So we got the mountain fort here. Bum ba bum 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 ba bum. Let's go and take care of Landshut first, or rather now. Don't fall. Okay, we have a little bit more time. Alright. more artillery have come online. Let's grab those, have them go join that stack. One of you was supposed to be going there, I thought. Get another general assigned to this army since we have extras at the moment. We got Malaga. Got a breach on this one. I think we want to go after Portugal now. Steel we have 31 war score with. Negative 43 reasons. We will need to occupy both of these two forts, and then hopefully he doesn't have a lot of personally held land elsewhere. He has the most colonial subjects. Got a lot of rebels over there too. Why take transfer trade from Augsburg? Yeah, it's a why not. It increases the length of the truce, and it doesn't really cost us anything, and it gives us a little bit of prestige. So if you're not capped out on prestige, it'll cap you out on prestige. It's just a why not. Doesn't really cost us anything. It's like war reps in my mind. Take money because why not? We do want to send our navy down here now in order to barrage Lisboa. Even if it, like, loses, I won't care. Alright. You think this fort's gonna hold till January 1st? I have faith. There's no way it falls, right? Poor Milan is getting screwed. Another age bonus. Doesn't really matter. We already have all the ones that do anything. We have 24-day siege ticks on Portugal. I don't think I actually built up a spy network on Portugal, because we only had a couple forts. We should be spying on him again. We don't need to spy on France anymore. Don't need to spy on mines. It's only a level 1 fort. We can go send the support half stack up to that location. Start working on that thing. Our navy is winning? Winning. Lol. I'm gonna try to send our navy over there. Be great to have a port in this region occupied so we can dock it up. Let's grab 2 troops down to Beja, 2 troops down to Algarve, and 2 troops go to Badajoz. 57, hey, it's holding. We've got 38-day siege ticks. Another thing you can use your diplomats for if you don't know what to spend them on. Generally speaking, anyone that has rivaled you will spy on you while you're at war. And you can see what their spy network is whenever they're doing an active siege. Just hover over the tooltip. See how it says Russian spy network in Prussia 2.8. So we know that they have whatever amount of spy network it takes to get to 2.8 siege ability. So you can run counter-espionage on your rivals, and it's fairly safe to assume that they will be spying on you. And if you catch them and reduce the spy network, it's good. Some more carpet siege action going. Got Landshut. Let's knock him out. Order of priority, like going back to like why trade power. First priority is always war reps. Second priority is max money. Third priority is transfer trade power. So if you can't get them to agree to the trade power, you take it off and go down to whatever they're willing to do. Move Castile, dip to spy on Ruski. Yeah. We got caught spying on Russia pretty early, didn't we? Okay, 1 month to go. Looks like we'll have our battle on roughly the 1st, and I don't think they're going to get another siege tick this month. Looks like they actually do. Okay, well, hopefully it doesn't fall, but sometimes it does. Actually have our diplomat come back from there as well. We'll knock you out. Okay. Wurzburg is this guy. We'll have these two armies join up and prepare to fight him. Hopefully it doesn't fall. It didn't, yay! Okay, we will take tech. There's Evora. Got our navy in place for the blockade. Remember earlier when I said the AI likes to add luxury units? There's that artillery. Okay, we will take all the tech. And we've got better cavalry, but we don't use cavalry, so that's fine. We've got an idea group we can take. At this point, it doesn't really matter, but I would probably take offensive. And we will sync up the arrival dates here. 7th and 9th. Let this army slow down a little bit. We want them to arrive. We have enough artillery, and they're coming from 2 separate armies, so it does matter if your troops arrive on the same day. If all of the armies arrive on the exact same day, and you have a full front line of troops and enough artillery to fill the back line, it'll deploy perfectly. If one of your armies doesn't have a full back line of artillery, and it arrives a day early, the game will do a stupid thing where it puts infantry in the back row, and then a day later, your second stack arrives, and there's no space for the artillery to deploy. So, syncing up the arrival date is very important in certain circumstances. Get our free naval barrage. And we do want to go back to spying on Russia. Let's double check, make sure these armies aren't getting overrun or anything down there. Okay, over here we've got the 6-6 versus our 4-4. Yeah, they're gonna get annihilated. Morale advantage of like 1.4. 12% discipline, plus we have our combat ability. Only a level 1 fort. I think it's time to rotate back south and take down Wien. And probably try to rotate through the Polish front is the next priority. Our individual war score with Castile is at 42 now. He is probably close to a white piece. And because Castile has so many colonial nations, and the total development of Castile is very high, the war score we get for occupying the Castilian provinces is less than it would be if they didn't have the colonial nations. So, obviously we don't really care about money, and we do have this front that is about to collapse and be on our land. And we don't want them to do that, because, you know, more prosperity. So, what we were going to do is probably just white piece Castile. We don't have to take money from everybody. It's not that big of a deal. We just want to get him out of the war so that he's not in the war, you know? Negative 23 reasons with Castile right now. Got Lisboa after 24 days. Individual war score with... It's the same thing with Portugal. They're going to have colonial nations, so as soon as we can get him to peace out, we'll take whatever deal. Okay, this army officially has no task, so I'm going to have it get ready to come back home, and we will advance along Austria and rotate through and protect our front over here a bit. We do have our inland route guy here. We're pretty much done with sieges over in this region. We can bring our merchant back from that too. So have these guys group up with you. You guys group up over there. Actually, this stack should assist that siege. Decline of the European beaver. Bum 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 bum. Yep, Naples will need to siege out as well. That's true. Okay. As soon as the army arrives here, we'll pull this 12 stack off. This should be our 6 siege pip guy. Got Vienna. Rotate over on a pest. Waiting on these guys to group up. Got Bamberg. Wurzburg should be ready to peace out now. Force religion is not possible, so we'll just do war reps and whatever money we can get. Okay, this stack is half of that stack. I need to merge it up now. And these are the support stacks for this army, but this army needs its 6 of these infantry. So these guys belong here. Austria's trying to train troops. That's a good sign that they've been losing some battles somewhere. Poland has served us valiantly. Negative 94 war score right now. This army was supposed to be going to Pest, not Pozny. This army wants to unoccupy some of these provinces for us. And we're going to go probably murder the Russians now. Support stack will stay down here just long enough to get that siege done. And then I think we're probably piecing Castile out. Negative 40 reason, ongoing battles, negative 24. Our navy is kind of just sitting here. Got Almeria. This is another good example. Remember at the start of it, I mentioned why we transfer the forts. Can you just see how easy it is to tell where the important provinces are when you organize it like this? And how quickly you can check terrain and say, is this a place I want to fight or not? These two, yes. These ones, less so. The fort in Lyon, yes. Mountain, easy, quick. Alright, so our siege leader is really far away. Let's rotate him up top. Let's grab a maneuver guy, put him in charge of the army. And these troops are going to head over to, check military access, to Toulon, and to Aix. And then when they get there, I'll reissue commands. We want to focus and bring the 6th siege ship guy over here. You can take offensive ideas? Yeah, we can, but we don't have any monarch points right now, so doesn't really do anything at the moment. We'll talk about it again probably when we actually have enough monarch points to do an idea, to take an idea. We'd also want to focus mill, probably. Can't do it till 78 though. We focused something else recently. Let's keep on looking at Portugal and Castile on occasion, see how close we are. 10 reasons with Castile and 45 reasons with Portugal. Difficult to get those big colonial nations out. 92% chance here. Alright, this stack is going to head over to Naples now. Looks like we don't have clean access there because the Milan fort is occupied by Naples. We got to go to Milan first. And Cremona. And based on that route, I think we want to have the support stack just go here. We should spy in Naples. We should have our merchants come over here now. Make sure we get that inland routes bonus active. Portugal still has all the North African forts. Yeah, that's going to be... It's going to delay us for a bit. But we have enough that even if I don't occupy anything else, because they're so occupied, they are gaining war exhaustion very quickly. 4.1 for Castile and 2.7 for Portugal. So their enthusiasm is going to come down despite the plus 50 religious league casus belli, just due to the war exhaustion going up. Yeah, Castile's got 4 reasons. Length of war is also ticking down at a rate of 0.75 per month. That is a mountain fort. Even though they have a really good general, that's a fight that I would love to take. We'll have the support stack go after Mantua. And this might also get his army trapped out of position. Let's have this army head to Cremona, and this army head to Pavia. I think he realizes how in danger he is now. once we take this province, he doesn't have the same zone of control as before. Probably going to see some serious pressure from Russia soon. If I can kill that Castilian army, that might be enough to get him out of the war. Let's send the just 26 regular troops, no artillery. I want the siege stacks to focus on sieges. But let's send an army up to try to kill that Castilian stack. So, like, his reasons why Castile still won't peace out, despite the fact that he's full occupied and we have 46 war score. The main one is the Castilian military strength. We want to just deplete that army, and then he'll suddenly want out. He's got 93 troops. Just took Mantua. Okay. I don't have a good place to engage him now, so I think we'll just go after his next fort, rather than try to fight him. Okay, Cleves is out. Remember earlier we talked about hiding our movement? I'm going to definitely make sure that they don't think that I'm trying to get them. Because I want that fight. Should be defensive terrain. Our troops versus their troops. Our troops are good. We want the stack wipe. Bum 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 bum. 3 war score. Got Siena. And because he doesn't have any provinces that are close by enough and all of his land is occupied, he can't shatter. So this is just a secondary stack wipe battle, which is great. 6 total war score plus his army's dead. And he's ready to go. You can only get 8 war score worth of peace deal right now. Totally fine. Just take direct money, 8 war score. Buy Castile. Portugal, negative 28 reasons. Our navy can go back to blockading. There are 2 ports here that we could siege. Those blockades actually might be enough to get them negative 24 reasons. Okay. Okay, we got Siena. Let's rotate down into Napoli. Let's have the support stack get started on Abruzzi. Once that fort falls, they'll rotate south as well. This stack is probably our most exposed army right now. It's in a mountain, and it doesn't have a support stack, and there are like 100,000 troops over here, so we gotta keep an eye on that. Taking the fort makes it much safer, though. Have it work on Zemplin. Need to make sure that these guys are on inland routes. They are. Okay, this stack is unoccupied. It's going to go and become the support stack for that east front. How do the army counts look now? 241,000 infantry for us versus 262,000. They got about 1.5x cav and about a little under double artillery. Russia's got 55,000 of the artillery. So just the fact that we've brought the numbers down from 1 to 2 on infantry and 3 to 1 on the other two just shows that there was never any risk that we were going to lose this war, in my opinion. Portugal and Naples are the next 2 that are going to come out. That army will slowly unoccupy everything if I don't do something about it. So this stack is probably going to turn around and go back to Portugal. We don't need more artillery for Naples, and if I can cross into those other forts, Portugal will get knocked out. Make sure we're spying on Austria. When did the war start? In 1566. We can see the actual day if you hover here. June 20th, 1566. Our navy is currently fighting some Portuguese ships, which means it's likely dying. Our navy's not very strong. I don't think he's going to let me cross that strait unless we get lucky. We'll retreat to a fort so that the navy doesn't get knocked out for a while and they can repair. We're sitting at 132,000 manpower. We've barely lost anything. This fort is taking an extremely long time. We got Zemplin. This is our best siege leader? No, where is he? Here? Okay. Okay, so these two stacks are going to turn into a combat stack now. Let's roll them north. I want to zone these guys out. We could also start trying to unsiege Poland and keep them in the war. It's another option. I think I'll do that, actually, while we wait for more troops to arrive or rotate. This fort needs to fall. Thank you. Okay, this stack goes back over here. Napoli fell. 51 war score with Naples, and they have one of the most scary generals. He's already ready for white peace, but this fort's going to go very fast. I think we will allow him to stay in the war just a little bit longer. Since they are starting to actually threaten some of our forts, we should consider 19th. We should consider, here, most of the smaller countries aren't grouping up with us anymore. Bum 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 bum. We should consider using the rest of the army now. What I was trying to say. Bum bum bum. Okay, 42% on that one. Small army down there. Portugal's got 37,000. Lost the siege of Tuchola. Should also consider running defensiveness in some of these states. We've only lost two forts on that front. They are besieging our capital right now, which is kind of annoying. "25-day siege was quick, just like I expected it would be. I'm just going to rotate off. Lost Kalmar. We won Abruzzi. Okay, that's probably Naples out of the war. 77 war score. We can do 41 war score worth of peace deal. 4 ups, money. Have the army rotate. They aren't in the Empire, so we just got black flagged, but we can come back over there. This army will also get unblack flagged when we get over here. You do have to, this is a weird thing. If you do transfer forts and you're black flagged and you go here, you won't get unblack flagged. It has to be a land that you control yourself. So we'll make sure that we path through one of these other provinces we control so that we get unblack flagged for sure. This was our best siege leader. Let's put someone else in charge. And get him up here. Bum 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 bum. That's an annoying fight, especially since I'm trying to train around here. Okay, now we merge and we create a combat stack to go deal with the Russian front. And then the war's pretty much over. Unsieging stuff that they have in Poland is just more fodder, really. I doubt that Poland's going to stay in the war. I'm kind of surprised he's still in it, to be honest. Alright. That battle is not exactly what I wanted to do, but let's see how our troops are. We only have a 5-3 general here. Like the Portuguese army's actually pretty strong. We're taking a 3 penalty here. This is real bad. Let's retreat to Beja and see if he wants to continue to fight our army or not. I just want to keep Portugal occupied. We're at, I think, 61 reasons for peace with Portugal at the moment. Got Warsaw back. It's just a 12/12 stack. That's kind of too small, I think. This is important. We're gonna do some boxing, is what I think, how I think of it. Rather than engage from down here, if we engage from this direction, we can delay their ability to reinforce. Because they can't start moving. They won't start moving until they know that they won't get engaged in these 2 provinces. We've carefully placed all of our forts in defensive terrain, so we know everywhere that we fight is going to be safe. So that should make it quite easy. And here we're just going to now ignore. Okay. Test time. Which army should we fight? The 3-star general with 27,000 troops, or the 1-star general with 35,000 troops? The left province is at 7% siege status. The right province is at 35. Which one's better? 1-star, 1-star, 3-star. The 35%. Okay. So this is why I brought it up. It's wrong to attack that one. Because if you take the fight and lose because they pile in with all of these reinforcements that are nearby, then when there's a battle and a siege in the same province at the same time, you get an extra siege phase, regardless of how long each phase is. If it's 70-day siege ticks, then they get a tick if they win a battle while doing the siege. So there's a 35% chance that the fort will instantly fall if you lose a fight here. There's only a 7% chance the fort will fall if we lose a fight here. But if we do fight here, they're probably going to break this siege anyway, because they want to reinforce. Both locations are defensive terrain for us. Yes, this general is much better, but it's safer, by far, to take the smaller stack here. Got Plock. Have that army head over to Tuchola. That makes sense? Like the actual general itself, now unfortunately that did fall, but depending on how long this battle takes, we might actually still get there before the end of the month. Stolp arrival, one of the armies is staying, unfortunately. The knights are in the war. Bum, ba, bum, bum. All right, so are we fully locked? We are, so I can't stop it. If we timed the arrival so we get there on the 1st, then it won't get a garrison reinforcement tick. But we're locked right now, so we're gonna get there and have the battle. And while the battle's happening, they will get their reinforcement tick. Because we aren't sieging yet. But this fort's not gonna stay for very long. We also should be using our siege thing. I've kind of forgotten to do that. We knocked Naples out. Portugal. Negative 18 reasons. And this army is a 607 with no leader. Alright. We will gladly fight this. Thanks, Portugal. Negative 13 reasons now. Let's head over to Cadiz and try to cross the strait. That army can go to Stolp. That army goes there. This is our best siege leader. Have him go to Ortelsburg soon, probably. Actually, let's have him go here and pull this army back off. Good job. I'll have him rotate into this location now. Rebels. There's also an army over there. Bum, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Okay. Austria's full occupied. We don't need to worry about that. I'm going to teleport the siege leader. He's done so well just now. Good job. We're going to have the siege leader head over to this army because I'm very close to getting Portugal out of the war. And I just want to ensure that this is done quickly. As soon as we get across this strait, we can do our barrage for free. We probably do want to get one of the guys back over here again. Is Great Britain in a PU with Prussia? Nope, they're just our ally. They were on our side of the league. That's enough already to scare that army off. Okay, we'll keep rotating now to the east in order to knock out Mr. Russia. And once he's out, war is over. A big portion of the armies that are still in the war are all those little colonial nations. Portuguese Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Prada. So these numbers now look much much better and hugely in our favor. And we just won the Siege of Ceuta. I missed where these rebels are. They're up there? Okay. This stack can go to Königsberg. This one goes to Ortelsburg. Warmia, go there. This one can just chill on the Western Front so that Russia doesn't come back again. That's defensive terrain, so if they move in, we do want to fight them, I think. Look at that siege status, 663. And I don't think the merchant was there. He is. 22-day siege sticks. Portugal's ready to peace out. We can get a 12% peace deal. That's fine. That's all we care about. Just get out of the war. Okay, this army can come home. Navy can come home. And our general, we want to teleport. Let's put just someone else down here with maneuver. And let's grab siege leader here. Let's rotate over onto Kovno. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Isn't Hungary a subject under Austria? Yes, but we've taken all of their forts, so they're pretty much full occupied. Austria's got 40,000 troops. Hungary's got 25,000 troops. A lot of the war score that they had is gone now. We have positive war score from battles, so no ticking war score yet. But it will not take long for us to start earning it. At this stage, now that I know that the relative strength of the alliance is roughly equal, I'm very motivated now to find easy battles, because I know that the AI can't pile in 70 billion troops and just overwhelm with sheer numbers. So we're going to try to use these armies to go engage whatever we see at this point. I think that was the general that was doing this. Nope. Hey, we have an idea. Offensive. Yeah. Warsaw fell again? Oh yeah, it did. We want to turn on... war taxes is probably going to stop being free soon. So let me cycle that, make sure that it stays active. That was this one. And we want idea cost. Bum, ba bum, ba bum. So just thinking out loud, like, offensive is still, I think, correct here because we want to win wars with sieges, but there is also an argument for quality. Just because we have innovative and we're Prussia, you know, having another 30% combat ability is kind of nice. 25% actually is what it is now. But I feel like that's a win more, and we're already winning fights. So if you're winning fights, you don't need to make yourself better at winning fights, you need to make yourself better at sieges, because sieges win wars. And offensive is sieges. One of our generals died that was there. Let's have you go here. Maritime? We already got the achievement, so we don't need that. Thank God. Notice how we don't actually have artillery in these armies? Artillery still do, like, almost no damage at this stage of the game. So, it's not strictly necessary to, like, make sure your artillery is part of every battle. Because they're not doing much yet. 6th and the 14th. Let's time the arrival. Suddenly we have war score from battles above 10, so we're going to start earning our ticking war score. The only people we can still knock out are Ragusa, Russia, the Knights, and that's it. Ragusa. That is someone that we should probably be sieging out. Let's have the stack that was taking care of Portugal head over to Ragusa. So, we didn't talk about it at the start of the war, but a thought that I did have in the background, as far as like deciding the order that we should process the war, is we saved Russia for last. Who can tell me why? There's a couple reasons, but, you know, just who can tell me some of the reasons why we saved them for last? Winter attrition. We had a buffer made out of paper. Are they made out of paper? Economic, offensive, trade, religious. They don't really have a lot of great stuff going for them. But yes, it's a combination of all those things. We had Poland and Lithuania as a buffer. They had a very large army compared to other countries that were much easier to knock out. Plus, there was no coastal forts for us to take advantage of. But the biggest reason is that notice how when we are unsieging Polish land, we don't suffer attrition. You only suffer hostile attrition when you are taking land owned by someone else. Unsieging your land or allies' land, there is no attrition. So if you look at the winter map mode, basically by intentionally ignoring Russia, we were forcing them to come down and out of the severe winter region, and then also ensuring that the sieges we were going to undo were 0%. And now we come back and it's good. We just stay out of the winter. It's bad. Like, we're suffering 3% attrition here. So if we'd done it the other order, say we had gone Russia first, we could have easily beaten Russia, knocked him out first. But then all of that attrition would instead have been on us. We would have suffered a ton of attrition and bled off almost all of our drill, and then had to go fight Castile, France, Austria. Make sense? Sure it does. Makes perfect sense. Bum, ba, bum. Russian winter attrition is so high that I would actually consider, now that we've removed a lot of the total number of troops in the war, I would consider going down to a bare minimum siege. Like, just a 12-0-12 now. Also, I am forgetting to move my merchants around because I'm being lazy. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. How many troops has Russia lost? Russia So I didn't do a thing to them, really, and they've lost 230,000 troops. Russia has 2.2 war exhaustion, and they are at 31,000 manpower. So basically, we just let them tire themselves out on some of our forts. Speaking of which, we should probably turn off all of our defensive edicts. They're costing money. And I like money. Do you like money? I like money. This army should go... This navy, rather, should go back to privateering in Novgorod. Or this heavy. And I do want to send one of these stacks home, because that Russian army is still being a pest. Poland helped after we beat them twice. Yeah. Poland's not very smart, is he? Bum bum bum. I don't like how we don't have enough generals for each stack now, but now that we're doing offensive ideas, I'd rather not roll any. Just make our heir into a guy, so that there is a general in charge of each army for safety. Bum bum ba-da-dum bum 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 bum. Let's do the thing where we pretend like we're not actually going there so that he doesn't try to escape and I can stop having to pay attention to him. Got Livland back. Bum 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 bum. Teleport our 4-4 combat leader over here. Thank you, Russia, for that kind donation of war score. So, because of, because of this war, Russia, rather, notice how I'm pretty much just relying on the one best siege leader. Like, we don't want to try to carpet siege Russia. Even though we're doing fine, even though we have 108,000 manpower, we don't want to bleed off what little drill we still have left. It is extremely painful. And it's better to just focus on one at a time with a 12 bonus. And have sieges that take 21 days. Anyone want to place any bets for how much debt our subject is in? Because I've been transferring forts to him the entire war? At least 5. 43. 43 loans. They are 289.9 ducats in debt, 21 loans. Whoops. Looks like I wasn't paying attention to that front. That's their 665 Master at Arms. They actually found one of my armies and they beat it. Wherever this one's retreating to, we'll have a backup stack come down to it. And they've got 48,000 here. Zemplin is defensive terrain. We'd like to fight that army. I'd much rather fight their army in defensive terrain than continue to do these sieges. So let's start rallying south and go and do some battles. Okay, these guys are all going to come to here, here, and here. They can see that I'm coming, so they are not wanting to do that anymore. Let's once again go and try to knock down Ragusa. Russian troops, I want to fight you. In the capital, we've got 24-day siege sticks. Imagine if we had innovative offensive complete already, instead of stupid naval. Can you just imagine? 29th, 31st, and 27th. So the latest one is the 31st. Let's let them get their attrition tick. We'll take the battle on the 2nd. Got their capital. Bum, 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 bum. Big old battle. With our 4-4. Versus their 6-6. And, of course, we won. And they will be able to retreat, I think. They have access through the Ottomans' land, so they are not being forced to stop. Call for pizza. 100% war score. Did he unconditionally surrender, or how did we get to 100 now? This must be because we've held his capital for 5 years or something? Is that what just happened? Occupied by Latgalia, 1570, March 14th? Been just under 3 years. Would it ever be worth making the subject a march for the League War? Probably not. Even though he would, like, pay less for forts and have more morale and higher discipline, he's still just like every other derp in the war. They're more of a liability than anything else. Ragusa, we can just white peace. And Russia, we have 28 individual war score with. Let's see if we can try to at least get money and war reps out of him. We can do 16% peace deal. He has 89,000 troops left. War reps, money. 27 reasons to get a couple thousand gold. I would push for this. We have innovative ideas, so we aren't actually gaining war exhaustion despite the call for pizza. We only need a couple more forts. Negative 12 now? Was that the first truce? Truce of the League expiring. Nope. We still have a truce with Liege until 1575. 2 more years. Found a lone Austrian army up here, for some reason. 3 more war score from battles that we don't actually need. Okay, let's see how long this one takes. 19-day siege ticks. Okay, we should be very close. -9. When you get that close, I usually just carpet siege. Bum 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 bum. Okay, there's Russia. And then there was Austria and the Knights. but we're not going to do anything with the knights. Putin an end to this war. Indeed. Look at that fat war rep income. 49.5 monthly income from war reps. That's what you get for being the league leader. And then we're going to do religious supremacy. And we'll do war reps. And we'll do money. And we'll do trade power. Thank you. They've elected Beirut as the emperor. Not the league leader, not the person that did all the work, but Beirut. Of course. Standard. So, yep. That's pretty much how you do it. Back to drilling. That army is not where it belongs. Any questions? I got kind of focused and didn't read chat as much as I would have. So if there was stuff, any other questions that were still needing to be handled, just tell me and we'll cover them now. Am I going to post this on YouTube? I could, sure. I mean, it's only like a 3 or 4 day thing. Just export the streams. Austria converted religion, did they? Yeah, they're Protestant now. They want to be emperor, apparently. Didn't take maritime? No, we didn't actually need to get the achievement. We just ended up bloating our land force limit to over 160, and then we had 25% of 160 was 40,000. I wonder how many Marines we still have. I've been consolidating armies a bit here and there, so only 18 Marines left. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? A good question. 2 hours ago, Lunt2_0 subscribed. Did I remember to rotate the camera? I don't think I did. That's how in the moment, in the zone I was. Oops. Where are you going to invest all that cash? 6,900 monies. Because we're Prussia, courthouses. But of course, before you build anything, you're supposed to do your religious button, because you should. This one for construction cost -10. Yeah, courthouses, workshops, churches if they're decent, shipyards are good, barracks are good. Upgrading forts to level 4 is very high priority. Followed by manufactories. Followed by centers of trade, if there are any to upgrade. Building to naval force limits pretty high on the priority list. Like, I'll try to upgrade this one if we can. Upgrade Reval. No. Yeah, stuff like that. And I would get the merchants reassigned to their correct locations. One here, one collecting in Lubeck. Get them turned off of the inland routes bonus. See how much we can bump this economy up. 53 monthly income from more reps now. 85 net on 171. Not bad. It's always surprising how fast you can spend money. I know, it just disappears. That was 6,900 gold. It's just gone. It's gone. We also lack some forts and zone of control stuff that I would want to fix. I think naval supply, we need to build more ships. Notice how, even though I'm sure our fleet is old, obsolete ships, like, mostly, never in that list of priorities was upgrading the ships to a better type. It's just not something that's worth the money, like, ever. Go like 60. So yeah, still no flagship. Yeah, that's a huge mistake. Should have had a flagship as soon as we got to 30 light ships, but the whole sailors into Marines thing kind of got me off course when it came to spending sailors on ships, and then I just forgot about flagships. Okay, I think we're officially done with this achievement. So 2 hours of extra time just to demonstrate the League War, you know, kill the heart. Now what? I do know what country I'll be playing for the multiplayer thing next week. According to Lambert, I'm going to be playing Rabagakur. Rabagakur. I have no idea what that is, but... Yep, on Wednesday. Do we have a command for it, Leafy, Tokmar? About, like, where the sign-up sheet and stuff is? I think that a lot of players have already gotten assigned to nations. I don't know how many people there are going to be in it, but it's being hosted on Lambert's Discord. I do want to check out that tag before we play on Wednesday, but it's only Friday. I got like half a week. So I'm thinking maybe we do the next Achieve or what? Next Achieve is the 2